Many of you guys are familiar with conditional formatting, but to apply conditional formatting to a pivot table is slightly different, which I am going to cover in this video. So this is my source data. So I'm going to select the data. So I'm going to skip rows with invoice date in December 2019. So I'll tell you the purpose later. So I'm going to skip December data. So I'm going to insert a pivot table. So I click insert pivot table from table range. I'm going to create it in a new sheet. Created an empty pivot table. I'm going to click invoice date. Then click on revenue. I'm excluding quarters. So created the pivot table. I'll expand the data. So this is the pivot table. So I will apply the conditional formatting the normal way and show you how it has to be applied differently for a pivot table. So I'm going to select this data, the entire data. December data I have skipped, so there is no data for 2019 December because we didn't select the December data. So I will click on conditional formatting drop down. I'll select highlight rules less than say 200,000, 2 lakhs. Click on OK. So now it highlighted all sum of revenues having values less than 200,000. So now I am going to add the December data and show you what issue we have if we apply the conditional formatting to a pivot table in the normal way. So I'll click on one of the cells. I'll click on pivot table analyze. I'll change data source. So it selected the current data source. So I'm extending the selection to include December 2019. I'm clicking OK. So it added December 2019 data, which is also less than 200,000, but the conditional formatting is not applied here. So that is the problem with applying conditional formatting to a pivot table using the normal conditional formatting method. So how it has to be applied? So I will show you. So I'm doing a Control Z to undo, Control Z. So now it is showing data only till November. This is the first version of the pivot table. So I'll show you how to apply conditional formatting to pivot table the right way. So I click on this cell showing sum of revenue against January. I'll go to conditional formatting, highlight cell rules. I'll select less than, do 200,000 again. Okay. So as this cell value is greater than 200,000, it won't highlight this cell. But notice one formatting options drop down list displayed to the right side of the cell. So click on this drop down. It shows 3 options. One is a selected cell. Selected cells is what we did now. So it is against selected cells. The next 2 options are for pivot table. So next one is all cells showing sum of revenue values. If I select this, it will apply conditional formatting to all sum of revenue cells, including the total shown against the year, which is not what I want. The third option is all cells showing sum of revenue values for invoice date. Here the invoice date is shown as months. That is what I want, the third option. So all cells showing sum of revenue values for invoice date. So I want conditional formatting to be applied to sum of revenue cells against the months, not against the total. So I will select the third option. And see, it applied the conditional formatting to all cells showing sum of revenue against the months. So notice here we have data only till November. We purposely skipped December 2019 data. So earlier when we added December data, the conditional formatting was not applied. So let us see by applying conditional formatting the current way, whether December 2019 data, when we add it, will get the conditional formatting. So click on one of the cells in the pivot table, click on pivot table analyze, change data source. I will extend the data source to show December 2019 rows also. I'll click OK. So now the December data got added. So notice one thing, this row is newly added, but the conditional formatting got applied automatically. Earlier when we did conditional formatting the normal way, it didn't apply to the newly added row. So now it applied the conditional formatting to the newly added rows. So this is the right way of adding conditional formatting to a pivot table. Back to the first version of the pivot table. So now I will show you how to apply conditional formatting using the second option in that formatting options drop down list. So I'll select this first cell of January month, click on conditional formatting, highlight rules. I'll use greater than 300,000. So it highlighted the cell as the cell value is greater than 300,000. So I will click on the formatting options drop down. So I'm going to show this conditional formatting using the second option. Earlier we used the third option, all cells showing sum of revenue values for invoice date. Now let us see what happened. So when we click on all cells showing sum of revenue values. So as I told earlier, it will apply conditional formatting to sum of revenue values against months as well as the years. So I'm clicking on this. So now it applied conditional formatting to the total as well as the months. Here also it applied on total as well as the months. Now I will show you how to apply conditional formatting to pivot table in a different way. So I'll click on this first cell, click on conditional formatting, highlight rules. I'll select less than 200,000. So instead of clicking this pivot table formatting options, I will click on conditional formatting, then I'll use manage rules, which will show the rules applied on the current selection. So current selection, the rule applied is cell value less than 200,000. You show it in this format. But as the cell value is greater than 200,000, it has not applied the conditional formatting. So I'll click on this rule. I will click on edit rule. See, it is showing the same three options which were displayed when I clicked on the formatting options drop down. So here I will select, instead of selected cells, I will click on the third option, all cells showing sum of revenue values for invoice date. Click on OK. And then I will click on apply. So now it applied conditional formatting to the sum of revenue cells against invoice dates. That is, these are the months. Now let us see how to add conditional formatting to the totals. So let's see, I click on this cell, I'll click on home tab, click on conditional formatting, click on manage rules. So my objective is to highlight the sum of revenue against years and not apply conditional formatting to sum of revenue against months. Only the year totals I want to apply the conditional formatting. So here it is 33,70,877. Here it is 33,71,910. So here I will click on this conditional formatting rule. I will edit the rule. See, notice it is showing, as I have selected this January cell, it is showing all cells showing sum of revenue values for invoice date, because it has selected B5, cell B5. If I change the selection to the year total here and come back, now it is showing all cells showing sum of revenue values for years. Earlier it was showing invoice date. Now it is showing years. I'll change the rule. Less than, I am changing it to greater than 71,000. Click on OK. I'll click on apply. See, it applied this conditional formatting only to the totals. It didn't apply to the invoice date, the sum of revenue against invoice date. So all years having total revenue greater than 33,71,000 will be highlighted. This is not highlighted because I'll click OK. This is not highlighted because it is less than 33,71,000. So this is how we apply conditional formatting to the year totals. So if I want to change it back, I will click on this cell, click on conditional formatting, manage rules, click on this, I will edit rule. Now it is still showing years. So if I have to change it to invoice date, I have to again select this, change the selection from B4 to B5 against January month. I'll come back to the screen. Now it is showing invoice date. Now if I apply this, I'll change the rule greater than 300,000 because we don't have such high value in against invoice date. So 300,000. Okay, apply. So it applied the conditional formatting. Now I'll show you how to apply conditional formatting against quarters. So for that we have to add quarter. So we had unchecked this quarters. I will add quarters here now. Now I will move this quarters above invoice date, below years. I'll click and expand entire field. So now quarters are added. Now I will click on this quarter value, click on conditional formatting, manage rules. The rules are applied, but it is for sum of revenue years. Now we'll have to edit this rule. I'll click on edit rule. Now it is showing years. All cells showing sum of revenue values for years. If I have to change it to quarter, I have to click on this cell. It is on cell B4. I have to select cell B5 showing quarter. I'll click. Now it is showing quarters. So before clicking that, I will change the value to greater than, because we don't have such high value as sum total of quarters. I will update 800,000, 8 lakhs. I'm clicking on all cells showing sum of revenue values for quarters and I'm clicking OK. Going to apply. So now conditional formatting got applied on quarters instead of totals. So here it is less than 800,000, so it is not highlighted. This quarter 2, it's greater than 800,000, so it is highlighted. So again, all are highlighted. So except this value, all quarters are highlighted. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. If you find the information I shared useful, please like and share the video with your friends. If you did not like the video, please let me know the reasons through comments. Also, please feel free to give improvement suggestions in the comment section. That will help me create better videos in future. Thank you once again.